Good afternoon. I think everyone received the news with great sadness. I think for us players, being at a World Cup is the peak of our careers. And to miss a World Cup with only 5 days to go is very sad. Everyone was very sad about this news. I wish Wesley a speedy recovery. We already have 1,000 reasons to give our all, but now we have one more, which is for him. I also want to take this opportunity to wish Ederson good luck and hope he can help us.
Mauro, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Bruno. Mauro Naves here from SBT, from N Sports. Did you find it natural that with the change, someone would come into the midfield? When you were chatting with Casemiro, Fabinho, and the others, did you think 5 wasn't enough there? It's natural that reinforcements were brought in for that area.
Look, we didn't really talk about it because the coach and his staff are the ones responsible for each call-up, not us. No, I didn't know anything. We got the news at the same time as you did. I think Ederson is a guy who can play in more than one position. And as I said here at the beginning, may he come and help us if necessary. He's a great player. He's also going through a very important moment in his career, and I wish him the best. And as I said, we don't choose who gets called up. All right, then.
Bruno right here, Wellington Campos from Radio Tachira. TTI for us out here, the fans think there's still something missing for the team to have a good debut. For you on the field, what's the feeling?
Look, the feeling is the best possible. I think in these two friendlies we played, we won. We had great moments. Yeah, I think we're more and more ready, more focused. We still have a week to work to get everyone fully prepared, to clear up all the coach's doubts. But we feel that we're prepared, ready. Yeah, we can't wait to get started.
Hi, Bruno from All Isla d'Elba. Hi, Bruno. This is Derek McGregor from the Scottish Sun. Can I please ask you, what do you think of the quality of the Brazil team and if it has a strong chance of winning the World Cup? And can I also ask you what you think of Scotland's chances of qualifying from the group?
Well, I know some of the players very well, especially the ones who play in the Premier League. They have very good quality. Speaking about us, I think we have a good team. We have been preparing ourselves very well since Ancelotti took charge. We hope we can start well. I think the first game is very important for us, and I think the quality is very strong. I hope we can go through.
Bruno Gonçalves from Record TV, you talked a little about the emotional side, right? About how you all are and if you feel prepared for this World Cup. I wanted to talk a bit about confidence. There's a lot of talk about the unity of the Brazilian squad. I wanted you to talk about how the team's confidence is right now on the eve of this World Cup opener. And do you really feel prepared and ready in practical terms for this World Cup opener?
Look, I'm very confident, especially after these two friendlies, right? With 2 wins, with good performances, both individually and as a team. We know that when the World Cup starts, everyone forgets everything that happened before. So we know that the first step is the most important for us. It's playing our opener, starting well, starting with a win, God willing, because everything is based on that first game. And we really want it and feel ready to start off on the right foot.
That's Bruno. Here, Bruno, please, right in front of you. Look. Straight here, Ali. Good afternoon, Bruno. Alexandre Pretz from Bandeirantes. Some opponents are pointing out that Brazil is no longer the same. Olis even said that when he was asked if there were any Brazilian players, no, there was no one to mention. Hugo Sainz, the greatest player in Mexico's history, thinks that Brazil will reach at most 6th place. So I wanted to ask you, this generation of Brazil today with this group, is it an underdog team? Would it be a surprise if Brazil became world champion?
Many people act for show. In any competition, Brazil is always a favorite. No other team has 5 stars on their chest. We know that doesn't matter on the field, but we're here to give our best, to play our football. We have great players shining in the biggest clubs in the world. In the case of Vini and Rafinha, so we have to give the proper respect to our national team, to our players. I believe that a lot of people, especially in England, with everyone I talk to on my team, respect Brazil a lot. We feel respected. But like I said, anything can happen on the field, right? I think Brazil will always be a favorite. Being favored doesn't guarantee a win, but we're ready to play our best and if all goes well, become champions. Still, we focus on one game at a time.
Bruno here, Gabi Guimarães, TV Band. Yeah, Ancelotti changed the team once again, now putting Paquetá in. I want to know what changes in your game dynamics when you have more midfielders instead of forwards. And he also said that he already has the ideal team. Did he tell you all? Can you tell us?
No, he didn't tell us anything. Sorry, I can't tell you because I don't even know. But man, I think the way we played with an extra player in midfield, especially for this last game, was very interesting. I think we had a lot more 1-2 plays, combinations. We had many chances, especially in the first half, to score more goals. And we ended up being a little wasteful with our finishing. Yeah, I think I have chemistry with Paqueta too from our time at Lyon. We already know each other very well, so it was a bit easier to play there. But that's up to the coach, right? Whether it's going to be 4-2, 4-3, anyway, we're here to, however he sets the team up, do the best we can.
Bruno Rodrigo from the Vamos channel. Vamos, I wanted to talk about Brazil's opponent in the opener. Morocco, who came in 4th place in the last World Cup and now had a somewhat turbulent cycle. But it's a very strong team that Brazil will face right away, maybe the strongest opponent in the group. So I wanted to know from you, how are you analyzing the Moroccan team at this moment, to already start off on the right foot, to already start with a win?
I think it's a very good team. It's one of their best generations. They have great players. They also came from the Africa Cup of Nations. I don't know if they were champions or not, right? It's still kind of undefined, but we give them all the credit. We respect them a lot. We know that for us, it's a key match to start well, to start off on the right foot, because on the other side, there's a great team.
Bruno here, Lili Nascimento from ESPN, going back to tactics for a moment, right? You talked about having more men in the midfield. So I wanted to know what changes for you when you have Paqueta, that is a third man there in the midfield, especially for passing combinations. And when it's just you and Casemiro there in the midfield, what are the differences between those two roles, if you could explain that to us?
I think that's just how we are when it comes to attacking. The 4-2-4 gives you more options, but at the same time, your team becomes more direct, right? You don't have that extra midfielder or another player in the middle who will get the ball forward more. It depends a lot on the characteristics. I think in this game, compared to the game against Panama, we also defended better. I think the goal was just bad luck for us, right? They didn't create chances to score against us, and that's very positive. So, like I said, it will depend on how the coach understands the game, how he feels is best for us to play, right? We just wait and see. He'll likely use the best players. As he said, he already knows his ideal team for Saturday. Bruno, Paulo Vinicius Coelho, PVC, UOL channel. Your goal, scored after winning the ball back in the attacking third, is the 6th of 26 goals since then.
Since Ancelotti arrived, from winning the ball back in the attacking third. On the other hand, sometimes it seems that when the team pushes up on the opponent's build-up, when they use hold-up play, there's still little space. Do you agree with that or do you disagree? And how do you train for that, to do what I said, to depend on the ball and to avoid the counter-attack like that? Look, I think one of the main things he's been asking us for is this high pressing. I think my goal was a reflection of that, right? A play where he ended up thinking, so better on Saturday.
There was already someone pressing in the corner. I went for it, stole the ball, and I was lucky to score the goal. But I agree that sometimes we were exposed in this game because we were trying to press and ended up getting caught with balls played behind us. We need to see how the game goes, how I defend when he passes, and make sure he doesn't get behind me. It's about defending better, believing and knowing your opponent can be dangerous. We have a week to adjust. I believe it's something he'll talk to us about because it's something I felt on the field too. That at times we pressed well, we recovered some balls, but when we didn't recover, we lost a bit of control of the game, depending on how he reads the game. Kiko Menezes from TV Global. The success of your work always comes along with the work of many people behind the scenes for your mental well-being and your physical well-being.
And among these professionals who are always following the players closely, there are those responsible for the images, the photographers, the video makers. Yeah, in your case, why is it special for you to have this kind of person working with you, especially nowadays, when images are so valuable, when images mean so much to people? Look, I think it's really important, right? I think being able to show my stuff to the younger ones from now on, everything that happened in the game, like in a video.
With memories is very important. I think that when I was little, at that age, we didn't have this thing with photos. It was more stories told by parents, grandparents, uncles, and so on. I believe this comes and helps a lot, so that in the end, at the end of the year, then at a Christmas table, being able to tell, being able to show things on TV, like at the end of the year, then at a Christmas table, being able to show things on TV with images. If it were up to me, Coach, yes.
Moroccan journalist. Morocco currently occupies the 7th position in the world ranking after Brazil, following their historic 4th place finish in Qatar. How do you see the Moroccan team, actually?
Very good, to be fair. I think it's one of the best generations they have. Like, we have to give them all the respect. We know it's going to be a tough draw for us, but hopefully we can play our best.
But hopefully, hey Bruno, good afternoon. Eduardo Semblano, Claudio Friclir. Bruno, Ancelotti has made some changes throughout the team, and now he's made a very significant change, which is adding an extra midfielder. More than that, Brazil in the previous cycle was attacking all the time. It was a single line, a single way of thinking. Do you think Brazil can now drop back and play for a single chance or on the counter-attack against certain opponents? Brazilians don't really like this, but it's necessary. Has Ancelotti discussed playing for a single chance in some games? Good luck, good afternoon.
My bad. I think so. It's very important, especially the Champions League he won with Real Madrid. The second one in this case, yeah, they played with a low defensive line on the counter-attack. Many times we know we have very fast players up front. I think it's something we've already been working on. We've already been thinking about it too. But it's up to the coach to decide how we're going to play. But I see this in a very positive way, and it's very interesting to have this style of play and this variation of sometimes waiting a little longer and going out on the counter-attack. That's it.
Raiza Simplicia here from Placa. Before Ancelotti arrived, we used to see a lot. Bruno, who wasn't yet established in the Brazilian national team, played really well for his club, right, over at Newcastle. But when he joined the national team, fans felt that something was missing from Bruno, that he didn't quite fit in with the team. Today, you're practically undisputed. When people debate which 11 players will be on the field, no one ever questions whether Bruno will be there or not. You're always there. I wanted to know from you how important Ancelotti was in your process of becoming established in the Brazilian national team. What did he do differently, for example, that helped you become as established as you are now?
I think he, along with Diniz, was the guy who gave me the most confidence to play here. He was the guy who, in one of the first call-ups, called me, asked where I wanted to play, where I felt safest to play. So he was the guy who gave me that opportunity, gave me that confidence to play my best soccer like I do at my club, took all the pressure off me. So today I can be the Bruno that I am at my club here, so I feel really good. The coach trusted me and put me in, and the group leader's support was important. Now I just need to block out the outside noise and focus on my game. Bruno, Thiago, here. Yeah, Thiago Rabello.
Bruno, along those lines, now that you're more established, in 2022 you arrived as a rising name and ended up having a somewhat frustrating World Cup, right? I wanted you to look back a bit on that 2022 World Cup and talk about what has changed for you now that you're more established in the national team.
Man, I think a lot changes in 4 years, right? In your personal life, in your professional life. I think I'm a much more prepared player today than I was 4 years ago. Everything was still new to me. I didn't complete the full cycle last time, so a lot has changed. This time I did. If I'm not mistaken, I was the player who participated the most throughout the whole cycle. So it's a different level of confidence. I feel much more experienced. I don't waste as much energy on silly things like I did 4 years ago, both on and off the field, so I feel much better. Much more ready, much calmer to go in and play. And I hope everything goes well because I believe I'm at my best right now.
Bruno, this is Ludmila from CNN Brazil. We know about the injury you had at the beginning of the year, right? And I wanted to hear from you how the recovery process was, including psychologically, and if at any point you were afraid of missing the World Cup. Thank you.
Very bad, right? Horrible, I would say. Sleepless nights until I got the test results because it was really something I hadn't felt before, so I didn't know if it was bad or actually I didn't know if it was really bad. But thank God the recovery was great, right? 11 weeks. And in the middle of all that, I even got mumps. Really unlucky. But I recovered and got better as quickly as possible. Yeah, but it was very different for me. It was the biggest injury I've ever had in my career, 3 months out, so it was tough, but it's behind me now. I feel prepared. I'm 100% mentally and physically, which is the most important thing. And that was something I was afraid of, so now it's just about focusing from here on out.
Bruno, how are you? Marco Bello, TMC Radio. You were talking about being favorites in the World Cup. The national team has a lot of talent, the Brazilian national team, but the other teams also have a lot of talent. And we can see in the World Cups that talent alone is not enough to win a World Cup. What do you need besides talent to win a World Cup?
The coach was wise to say the team would win when he announced the names. More about resilience than just quality. I think in a World Cup, talent alone isn't enough. You have to work hard, you have to run with all 11. You have to defend when you need to defend, right? And attack when you need to attack. It's a mix of everything, I would say, and a lot of heart. You know, it's about believing until the end, right? From my point of view, Argentina wasn't the favorite in the last World Cup, and they won, so being the favorite is important for you guys. But for us here, it's not very important. We know that it's game by game that will decide everything.
Bruno, Leonardo Baron, yeah, tell us a bit about what's going on behind the scenes. There are 26 players here. How does the press office approach you to say, hey, you're going to the interview? Are there players who avoid it, players who want to go, who don't want to go? How do they convince you, like, go there and talk? How does that work in your minds? How does that approach happen?
My friend messaged me at 11 p.m. yesterday saying I'd be here today, so he caught me off guard. But here we are. I think they always let you know a day before. Yeah, some people like it, some don't, but I think that's normal. In a group of 26, that's a lot. It's a lot of different people, right? Some people like to talk, some don't. I'm always around. I don't like it, but I don't dislike it either. So I think in a group like this, it's kind of like that in a group. Some do, some don't.
Tomorrow it's you again then, okay?
No, that's not it, man. Not even close.
Here, Bruno, yeah, Jonathan Santos, BTB Esporte. Even considering the time you went through your injury, recently a moment with you and your wife went viral. You were eager to get back on the field and she said, go ahead, get injured again. Can you describe that moment and the importance of your family's role off the field as well? Thank you.
Look, I think it's very important, right? I'm really stubborn in that regard. I was watching the Newcastle game. We were losing and I was upset. I said, I really have to get back soon. Then she set me straight, and it's a good thing she did, but I think it's important. Yeah, especially at this moment when so many people are talking, right? Focusing on your family, your friends, listening to the best advice from those who are always by your side, I think that's important. If I'm here today, it's thanks to my father, my mother, who invested in my dream, my family, my children. So I think that family for us at this moment is something we need to be even closer to.
Thanks, Bruno and everyone. Training starts at 5 p.m. at Columbia Park Training Center.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bruno. Thanks.